I think first, two things before you talk about the game. I think first, you got to talk about Fran and last year at Temple and what he's meant to college basketball. No greater man, no greater coach. He's done an unbelievable job, obviously, at Penn and then taking over at Temple. I was fortunate to be able to compete against him in the A-10 as well. He just does things the right way. First-class guy all the way around. Obviously, a great coach. Is the success of the teams that he has speaks volumes, but he's always done things the right way, and guys have always gotten better. Guys have graduated. College basketball is going to lose out on one of the true gems of this profession. I didn't want to give him the win today, but it's still, great guy. And then the second, obviously, it's a great day for college basketball with the autism awareness. Obviously, a lot of stories done on our program regarding that. It's very important nationally, but it holds a little more importance in our program. I think that it's a great opportunity today, not only to raise awareness, but also acceptance. It's changed dramatically over the years, the acceptance of, young boys and girls along the spectrum along the autism spectrum. And we see it every day, with a couple of guys that are part of our program, very integral parts of our program. So it's a great day for that. Again, a hell of a game. We've played them now 80, 90 minutes. And it's been a 3-point difference, So we did some good things. I think we got back to, kind of our identity, playing with some toughness and physicality on the glass, which was good to see. Making some big plays, critical plays. Offensively, again, we got to grind it out on defense and rebounding, and our offense clicks in here and there, and that's kind of what happened again today. Probably a couple things. We turned the ball over a little too much, especially in some critical spots. And give them credit. They made some plays. To win that game, you got to make some plays, and what ends up happening, if you analyze it, they made probably one more play than we did. And that's the difference. And it's a bitter pill to swallow at the same time. Our fight and our execution of some of our game plan stuff was really, really good today. So we just got to keep moving on.
Coach, did you get an explanation from the officials on that shot clock violation? Because on the review, it looked like the ball did hit the rim when Michael tried to tip it in.
Yeah, they said it hit the rim after the clock went off, which was, that's what they said. There's nothing I can do about it. So I have to look at it, when I go upstairs. But that's what they said, that the ball did hit the rim, but it was after the horn blew.
Coach, what was the talk in the locker room after a tough loss? What did you say to your squad?
You just talk to, obviously, again, you're honest with the guys, and people are going to say the 2 free throws at the end, but, and you've heard this before, that didn't cost us the game. You know what I mean? Yes, if he makes both, we win the game. But, we made 6, 7, 8 critical errors, which is part of the game. They made errors too. They let Quincy go down and get a layup to tie the game. So you talk about that stuff just real quick, because again, our guys, they're playing games in February that actually mean something. No one's ever done that. You know what I mean? They've never been in those situations before, where they're critical games. David and JB last year in February, we were just trying to survive. So and you're doing it against high-level teams, really good teams. So you just gotta, everybody's obviously disappointed, but it was a tough game. We made enough mistakes to cost us the game, and I guarantee Fran's in his locker room's figuring out that they made enough mistakes to cost them the game too. Shiz Austin's a great free throw shooter. He goes 5 for 9. He's shooting like 88%. He hasn't made a 3 the whole game. He makes a 3 to put him up 1. Now, why does he do that? Is it because he's a senior and he's been through that stuff before? And you know, I think that's a big key for us. You know, we got to learn everything we go through. We got to learn something. We got to learn something. And as I always say, the process we're on, unfortunately, I would like it to always be on a straight line upward. But you're going to have some tough days as you rebuild the program. Tough days.
You say you want to learn something, so what is the lesson? What is the lesson here, a tough loss down the stretch in February?
Well, but, you know, we both David Collins and LaQuincy, we were not even sure if they were going to be able to play. They're both really banged up. You know, and the first lesson is those two guys are freaking warriors. And then Lex is still rusty from his week off, but, you know, he's rusty shooting the ball. But he's not rusty on the glass. It's the second straight double-figure rebound game. And if you get double figures against Central Florida and you get double figures against Temple, you're a high-level rebounder, because guys at Temple, those are some tough suckers right there, man. They're tough kids. They've built their program on toughness. You know, so a lot of positives. Unfortunately, the only negative is we didn't win the game. You know, and you know, we played a really good team. You know, out of the top 4 teams in the league, if you played everybody twice, you'd play 8 games against the top 4 teams. We're going to play 7 out of the 8 games. I'm not sure anybody else is doing that. You know what I mean? So we actually have a very tough conference schedule in terms of who we're playing twice, because we're playing Temple twice, we're playing Houston twice, we're playing Central Florida twice. The only other team we're playing once is who? Cincinnati. So 7 out of 8 opportunities to play the top 4 teams. We're playing 7 out of the 8. So, you know, probably not the best schedule for the team picked last, but it is what it is, and now you got to fight through it.
Do you guys think that it's a total loss if you guys don't get a top 4 seed, or is there still something to kind of take away from getting a?
I don't know who's at. I mean, you've never heard me talk about getting a top 4 seed in the tournament. I'm just glad they're inviting us. You know, I mean, that's never been something that we talked about. We got to get a bye. You know, I mean, we want to play as many games as we can, because every game we get to play, we keep getting better, we keep learning different things, and that's the most important thing for us right now.
Young guys do at this, especially at this stage, young guys hit a physical and mental wall. How do you feel about your group right now? You feel like they're...
No, did it look like they had a physical or mental wall out there?
No,
Did they compete for 45 minutes? That's what we do. That's what we do. And I agree with you, though. And that's our job to manage that a little bit. And that's where having some depth helps, because there was a couple guys who didn't play well tonight, and their minutes showed it. You know what I mean? They can't come. You can't come in and foul right away and give up an offensive rebound on a free throw cutout. And that's like in our. I'll give you a little insight in our program. That's like a mortal sin in our program. When they miss a free throw, if we give a rebound up on that, and we gave up 3 in the second half. So, out of all the things I'm disappointed in, that's the biggest one. You say, well, you lose games because of that.
Coach X was in here a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
And with the game on the line at the end of regulation and in overtime,
Yep.
you turned to him to guard Shiz Alston, who's the 3rd leading scorer in the conference. Obviously, X has earned a lot of trust from you in his
Yep.
defense. Could you talk about that a little?
Yeah, you know, Q had 4 fouls, so we wanted to keep him off him, because I thought Q did a good job on him throughout the game. But we have a lot of confidence in X defensively on the ball. He does a good job negotiating ball screens. He's able to keep his chest in front. And, you know, I know he's only a freshman, but he's earned that. I thought, you know, again, at this time of year, we got to get some guys playing a little better, you know, in terms of going into the end of the season. I think X is one of those. I think TJ played better today. Hopefully, you know, the next game, he, you know, continues that, gets that little bit of momentum heading into those last 5 conference games that we got. So, but I have a ton of confidence, and the guys have a lot of confidence in X on the ball defensively. You got to remember, you know, when we were full practice, and every day he'd go against LaQuincy or David. You know, one of the marks when you have a good program is guys get better because of who they're going against every day. And I think X is a beneficiary of that.
Coach, you talked about last year. At this time, you were 7-19. This year, you're playing meaningful games. In your mind, what's the one thing that's turned this thing around?
We got competitive kids. They compete every day. And part of being competitive is they want to be coached, so I can coach them. I coach them hard. They know we love them and care about them, and we have their best interests in mind, so you can coach them. But they're competitive kids, you know, and they're competitive amongst each other. They're competitive in the games, and every day they're competitive amongst themselves in terms of trying to get better. They've bought in that, you know, the number one ingredient is we compete. You know, we compete. We're not, believe me, we got a long way to go. We got to get more disciplined, and we got to tighten up our skill level and all that stuff. But, you know, no one, proudest thing I am of this team is when the other team's done playing us, they know they played somebody that competed for 40 minutes. You know, they felt us out there a little bit, you know. And so that's where we were at. That's a huge step. That's a huge step. Now we need to turn that into, you know, and we've turned it into, you know, 17 wins now. We need to, you know, keep getting better so we can turn it into some more wins.
Coach, you have a game on Tuesday against Florida College, lower level team, dealing with some injuries. How are you going to manage the minutes between Q, DC?
Yeah, I mean, if guys are banged up, they probably won't play, but that would be a good thing because we got, like I said, we got some young guys that need some minutes and play. The best thing for us is play. We'd be practicing that day anyways, you know what I mean? And, you know, I want to give our guys, as I said when we announced the game, the opportunity to play the legitimate number of games. And it's a good opportunity for guys to step in. And again, guys who played a little better today, I expect them. It'll be my expectation for them to play very well on Tuesday.
Coach, is this one of those games where 2 a.m. you'll still be going, replaying plays in your mind? Is this a hard one to just walk away from for you?
Yeah, I mean, when you want something bad, and we all do, yeah, those are hard nights. But you know, I'll call you at 2 a.m. I'm not sure.
I'll leave you my number.
Yeah. But you know, I mean, you want it for the guys because you know the time and effort that they're putting in. You know, for the most part, we try to do things the right way. Our guys try to do things the right way, so you want them to be successful. And you know, the biggest thing is, you know, you can talk about, hey, you know, you got everybody coming back except one guy. Our guys want to do some special things this year. You know what I mean? And we still got there's a lot of games out there to be had.
Michael and Alexis obviously double-digit rebounds and getting that production from those two. How nice was that tonight?
Well, I think, you know, the last 2 home games, Mike had 13 last Sunday and 11 today. You know, that's good. That's good. Starting to see him play with a little more aggressiveness and so forth. He's going to be a wonderful player here now. He's going to be really good. I mean, really, really good. The sky's the limit for that kid. He's just starting to learn some stuff and so forth. But, you know, to be able to go out there and compete at that level today and get those 11 rebounds, 4 on the offensive end, critical for us.
Is there anything else for Coach?
All right.